Bookstore. I'm very happy that people had the opportunity to come out today to listen to, again, two wonderful authors that I know personally. I think you're going to be enlightened, inspired, motivated to get up and do something, because as we reach the end of 2011 and look forward to 2012, there should be a few things on your mind. First of all, where the hell am I in my life? That's first and foremost. You need to start to think about what the future is going to hold. And we do this every year. How many people make New Year's resolutions? Come on, yeah, come on. You do. You know you do. How many of them do we keep? What is it that's preventing us from being able to take one step in front of the other step, in front of the other step, instead of the whole proverbial one step forward and two steps back? These two young men here are going to help you continue to take one step forward and another step forward. And when you are 5 miles down that road, you don't have to look back. You want to keep looking for this. Our first speaker is Harold Reed Jr. And this young man is a phenom. He's a phenomenal person, not just because he's written a book, but because of who he is, where he has come from, and what he is trying to achieve by constantly going 1 foot forward at a time. But I say that to say I've had the opportunity and the blessing to watch a child grow into a teenager, grow into a young adult, grow into a man. And to say that I'm very pleased at what I've seen so far in his life is an understatement. Harold has lived a life of forward projection, forward movement. The title of his book is Find a Way to Make a Way. Either you're part of the problem or part of the solution. Is so succinct, but yet so right. You've got to find a way in this world to make your way. Yeah. I think that's all I'm going to say about you right now. No, it's not. One more thing I have to say. One more thing I have to say is, you will be inspired by this man, because he has inspired me. And it takes a lot to inspire me. And I've been inspired by him. And I always want to be able to move forward and find a way to make that way. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be the problem. I want to be part of the solution. And with that, Mr. Harold Reed Jr.
Yeah, all I need to over there. How's everybody doing this afternoon?
Great.
Since we're gonna close and intimate, I'm gonna get a little casual. I'm gonna have a seat because, well, everyone else is sitting. Sitting before you is a free man. I'm a free man. Not in the sense that, you know, I'm not a slave. We're all free in that aspect. I say that I'm free because I've overcome, I would say, one of the harshest battles I've ever had to fight in my life. I actually had to fight to be the man that I want to be. Give you a little history about myself real quick. I'm a retired police officer. I was a police officer for the township of Woodbridge, New Jersey for the past 9 years. And 2 years prior to that, I was a police officer for the city of East Orange, New Jersey. It was early in my career, actually midway through my career, where I made the decision to write this book, Find a Way to Make a Way. And the reason why I decided to write this book was because as a police officer, I was in a position where any given day that I kissed my wife and at the time one son goodbye, that could be the day that I actually kissed them goodbye. And I didn't want to have my son, at the time one, now two, as in one son, now two sons. I don't want them growing up with people saying, your father would have said this, your father would have said that, this is what your father would have wanted for you. So what I began doing was writing a letter. I began writing a letter to my son, telling him all the things that I wanted him to know, type of man I wanted him to be, type of lessons I wanted him to learn. And it just began to grow. It just began to grow. And this was the final product. About, let's see, this is what, 2011? 2007, I was involved in a motor vehicle accident on the job. And about a couple months after that accident, a woman that was in the car that had hit mine had passed away. And that messed me up. I'm not gonna lie, that really messed me up. One of the things I prepared myself for in becoming a police officer was that I might have to take somebody's life. Defending myself or defending somebody else. One of the things that I prepared myself for was that I myself might lose my life in the course of the line of duty. The one thing I never prepared myself for was accidentally being involved or related to somebody dying. I was not mentally prepared for that. But being the man that I am, stubborn, being the man that I am, proud, being a well-trained cop, I put my body armor on, mentally, emotionally, and physically, and went back to work. But what I began realizing as I just began developing into the man that I guess I'm meant to become, the more that I realized I was denying what was bothering me, to the point where my work actually suffered. I was doing less of it. I wasn't fulfilling what I knew was my potential. So I had a conversation with one of my colleagues. And the thing is, if you got a cop that's brave enough to go to you and say, I need to talk to somebody, you get him somebody to talk to. Because you mess around and don't get that cop somebody to talk to, because cops are supposed to be macho, because we all watch cop shows and movies growing up. You know, cops aren't supposed to have chinks in the armor. Cops aren't supposed to be able to break down. Cops aren't supposed to cry. Cops aren't supposed to have emotions. Guess what? Cops are human beings. We weren't born in the uniform. We didn't come out the womb with the badge and the gun. So if a cop says he needs somebody to talk to, you give him somebody to talk to, because if you don't, that cop might eat his gun. It's a reality. So my people got me somebody to talk to. And turns out, I got diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, because it all stemmed from that accident. There was a woman who didn't get to spend Christmas with her family and her grandkids, and I was involved in that. It bothered me. Turns out that I was able to apply for early retirement. Okay, it's all well and good. My family here, they supported me, you know, and my wife supported me, so it was you would think it was all good. But there's a chapter in my book, which by far and large I believe is the most popular chapter, called Beware the Bubble Busters. Bubble busters are those people in your life who will kill your dreams. They will shatter your dreams. They have no vision for themselves, so they cannot possibly have a vision for you. They don't want to see you succeed because they don't want to do anything for themselves. And that's when the bubble busters and the dream killers on my job started making themselves known. Because I've been speaking as a motivational speaker for about 4 or 5 years now. This is the business that I wanted to build for myself for when I stopped being a cop, when I retired, as I planned, 15, 20 years from now. What somebody did was they went to somebody that they knew on the state pension board, and they said, Harold Reed can't possibly have post-traumatic stress. He's a motivational speaker. Here's his website. Here's his YouTube videos. Does this look like somebody that's stressed out? Does this look like somebody that's messed up? So a simple retirement process that should have took 5 to 6 months took a year. It took a year. Over the course of that time, I had to deal with a lot of emotions. I was getting past the woman dying. I was seeing a therapist. I was good with that. I was dealing with that. Now I'm dealing with the fact that May 1st, I retired. May 1st, the paycheck stopped. I still had some money that I had saved up, so I was good. But come June, when this stuff was supposed to be resolved, it wasn't. Because somebody went and said, oh, he can't possibly da-da-da-da-da. So now the pension board is saying, well, yeah, how can you be a motivational speaker if you have post-traumatic stress? That pissed off a lot of people. Pissed off the therapists, pissed off the lawyers. Because it was like the same way a person who's suffering from alcoholism or recovering from alcoholism hasn't had a drink in 15 years, encourages other people to get off the bottle and stay off the bottle. What I had to deal with no money coming in. I had to deal with making sure that even though there was no money coming in, my 2 sons got fed, my wife got fed, the lights stayed on. Had to make sure the car didn't get repossessed. Had to make sure the house didn't get foreclosed on. These are the things that I was carrying on my spirit. These are the things that I was carrying on my soul. And you want to know something? I'm going to say this, and I've never verbalized this publicly, but I'm going to say, yes, I was depressed. I'm going to admit, yes, there were times that I considered killing myself, ending it all. There are 3 guns in my house. It wouldn't have been a problem. But here's the thing, and here's the reason why I didn't. I'm a grown-ass man. And a grown-ass man doesn't leave the woman that supports him with 2 boys to raise on her own. A grown-ass man doesn't leave those 2 boys in this world the way it is without their father to bring them up and make them into the men that they're supposed to be. So I had to bear down, and I had to deal with it, and I had to keep the faith. And how many of you have heard or read that poem, Footprints? All right? Long story short, Footprints is basically a poem about a man who's walking along the beach, and he's walking with Jesus. And he's looking back, and he sees that there are 2 sets of prints. And then somewhere along the line, he sees that there's just 1 set of footprints. And he says to Jesus, where have you been when all those times in my life when I was walking by myself, when I only have the 1 set of footprints? And Jesus says to him, no, you're mistaken. Where you see 1 set of footprints, that's why I was carrying you. For the past, I would say 3 to 4 months, that's when I was going through my 1 set of footprints. That's when I was being carried. But I had wonderful people in my life, like my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, Corey. They keep me humble. My cousin Paul, it keeps me humble. My brothers from Groove 5 Groove, they keep me humble. My friends, Tazz, they keep me humble. They keep my faith secure. And it's because of all of that, with all of that love surrounding me. My 2 boys who just for no reason run into the room and give me a hug and a kiss and then run out because they're too young to ask for money yet, thank God. So I settled for the hug and the kiss and to run out the room. All of that, I couldn't leave all that behind. I couldn't turn off all of that. So I kept the faith. And as fate would have it, things turned out in my favor because I had those 1 set of footprints behind me. So yeah, I'm a free man because I had to fight for being a motivational speaker. I had to fight to live up to my potential. I had to fight to prove that I'm worthy to share the gift that I was brought here for. Each of our life consists of chapters. You have chapters in your life. You are not supposed, this gentleman right here asked me, he's like, weren't you supposed to be a cop for 20 years? You're not the first person to ask me that question. You are what you are for as long as you choose to be what you are. You can make changes in your life. We're living in a time and a period of dynamic change right now. Why? Because people aren't just saying, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to do something else. People are being pushed out. People are being thrown out. People are being kicked out. Jobs that they had for 5 months to 5 years to 15 to 25 years. They're getting downsized. They're getting cut out. They're becoming unhireable, unmanageable, uncontrollable, unpayable. We have to start setting our own standards in life. That's what I'm here to share with you today. We have to start setting our own standards in life. You have to start living for yourselves. You can have, do, and be anything you want in this world, provided you're willing to put forth the work necessary in order to achieve it. And there are going to be hard times. There are going to be people who are going to challenge you. There are going to be people who are going to stand in your way. There are going to be people who are going to straight up try to hurt you, damn near kill you. That is nothing more than the pressure that is necessary to be applied to you in order to convert you from a lump of coal into a diamond.